Welcome to S
No, stop, stop,
E.
stop, stop, stop. I forgot to put the camera on you. Okay, it's on you now.
Okay. Welcome to SEO conspiracy.com.
Bonjour, Judith.
Bonjour.
If you guys don't like the YouTubers say, like subscribe, hit the bell, blah blah. If you don't do that after hearing that welcome, I don't know what I can do. Okay. Especially with today's topic, because Black Hat SEO, there's a lot of people talking about it. Is there still a lot of people doing it? What is left of it? What works? What doesn't work? Let's go.
Yeah, I guess for me, though, Black Hat SEO, it was always something illegal. And so for me, Gray Hat is all the stuff I was doing.
Put the limit. Please explain the limit that we put ourselves.
I think most people call Black Hat SEO anything that was Gray Hat. So people consider buying links Black Hat, and I really don't think that that's what Black Hat is. For me, for many years, and don't forget I've been doing this 25 years, for many years, Black Hat was all about hacking websites and injecting links and doing that sort of illegal behavior. And nowadays, buying links is not Black Hat, but people consider it Black Hat because it violates Google's rules. So these days, Black Hat is just violating or going against Google's rules, which really 25 years ago was, we went against rules all the time, but it was just doing your job because the search engines were shit. They're still not that great. Yandex, in my books, some days for some queries ranks things better than Bing.
It's true that it's a different system than Google on different levels.
Yeah.
The legal
and Bing
limit
is using so much more machine learning.
But the legal limit is important to understand, especially the youngsters who are not listening to Neil Patel. Hello and welcome. You like I told you before, if you're 16 living with your parents and one day you see someone with a badge and a gun coming to pick you up, that would be a good experience to tell your friends later on. But because that's not going to be heavy, dirty hacking, you want on the different. You have different level of hacking. So, and the worst is when you put in a Trojan horse or spyware into a server, injecting link. The problem is it's the easiest way to do link building. Hacking websites.
Well, hacking, but you want to hack websites. You don't want to do the old Drupal hack where you just like inject links into a site that no one's taking care of anymore, or build unseen pages because they'll have no internal linking structure. And it's a red flag to Google. If it's an orphaned page, then it's either a PPC campaign gone wrong, or it's a hacked website with injected pages.
Well, let's imagine that, because I still see a lot of stuff running like it was 2004, and they haven't tweaked it since 2004. But if you imagine that the guy knows what he's doing, meaning SEO 101, link the link, okay? Always build links towards the link, and then it's a never-ending story. But if you are good, you must link the link. There's in France, I'll try to translate it, is to popularize is a verb in English?
Yep, yes.
Okay, you always need to popularize where you make a shit.
Yeah,
or where
Yeah.
you take a shit. Okay. so
So you need to
that's-
popularize where you take a shit. Let me take a note of that. I'll make sure to post on social media everywhere I take a shit in order to popularize it in the only way I know how. Somehow, I don't think that translates quite the same way into English that you were hoping it to.
Well, no, the spirit is there because
Yeah,
when
I get it.
when you explain what you do, and the test is for years. Even my wife thought I was like a computer guy, okay, like fixing computers. What's the term for it? Informatique.
It's like IT,
Yeah, IT.
an
Okay.
IT guy.
Yes. I did not understand why people were bringing me like their fucking PCs to fix, and so it took years. And when I explain what I do to an aunt at Christmas, and after 30 seconds, I have the look of a Labrador. Into her eyes, I'm like, okay, I lost her. So I changed the narrative. I say, I spam Google and puts a smile on the face. People understand, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, you can explain it in a very politically correct way, but we do manipulate something that is meant to be organic. So call it spam or whatever you want, but it's most definitely manipulation, I guess. Or we don't let nature do his thing.
Well, it's true, and one of the so I'm working for a multiple of different clients right now, but one of my clients that has most of my time, they have a real problem with one of their websites. It is sort of not quite under direct attack. It is under indirect attack through a network of sites. 8 of them are there are tiers. 8 of them are what I call tier 0. So those are the money sites. 8 money sites. But tier 1 is 8,000 websites strong. Each of them has a topic. Each of them is maintained to a certain degree. So there's fresh-ish content on there. You wouldn't think that it was not updated from 2016. And they're all getting links from their tier 2 websites, which number in the tens to hundreds of thousands. And how did I find it all? AdSense. There's big, huge, massive AdSense ID footprints. So looking back through AdSense IDs and looking at who the registrars were that put like just domain holding pages on versus people who were running the AdSense. And then you look for things like staging sites, et cetera, et cetera. I found so many things for these guys about what was going on with this tier 0 set of websites. And some of it is just probably accidental on their part, but it really shows how aggressively for the last 2 years, they have just been building links and spamming the hell out of everywhere. And the other day, they finally published their address. Unfortunately, it's a co-working space, but I have like a girl crush on them. I really wanted to go and just like, shoot the shit with them and say, holy fuck balls, man, you are just doing beautiful work. I love your work. The tier 1 of 8,000 sites is just beautiful. They have like,
that's a lot.
Pointing to their tier 0, they've got domains they purchased, didn't want to maintain, and so redirected, but then continued with the link acquisition. It's just beautiful. Really, really well put together, but it's against Google's guidelines, what they're doing, or at least it's against the spirit of them, if not the letter. So a lot of the links that you can track back are bought, and those are the ones that are against the letter. But the manipulation, that is considered black hat. So for me, that's gray hat. They've done a beautiful job. They're ranking legitimate websites using edgy techniques. That's gray hat. But to other people, that's black hat. So yeah, black hat is totally alive and thriving if you encompass things outside of purely illegal stuff. But even within the illegal stuff, if you're doing it carefully, you can still get away with a lot.
Oh, go Google like Rolex replica or Louboutin, cheap Louboutin or something like that. Hacked websites, okay, and
Yeah.
it's all bots, it's all automatic, no human it's automatically hacked, redirect build, and you see that sometimes the script is fucking up because the redirection doesn't work or whatever. So yeah, I always show that type of SERP when people are like, no, it doesn't work. There you go. um, so let's put aside the illegal part of Black Hat SEO, which you're right is the real thing. The problem you have if you want to go industrial, big, is the money trail.
Yeah.
That's why most 90% of the spammers are either Russian or Chinese, because they are the only ones who can rebuild a company, bank account, the whole
Over
thing.
and over and
Yeah.
over.
And we call it cavalry in French. You see, I mean, in London you have the same thing. You have that nightclub that closes 6 months after it opened, and then it's another one. Different company, the different front guy. So you need that
They
system.
just keep flipping.
Because if you're just one guy, you that money trail, how many accounts how many PayPal accounts can you open? How many companies can you open? How many bank accounts can you open under different names? Your cousin, your mom, your grandma, it's not going very far. And then you have so you have the low-hanging fruit hackers, the little guy who goes on Black Hat World and is buying link on Fiverr and testing out some automated content generation scripts. They might get results on also low-hanging fruit or what long tail. I hate that term, long tail keywords. It might work because that's the way Google works. You can be a lot more aggressive on those keywords, like I always say, rent bed and breakfast in Buttfuck, Arizona. You can be very aggressive on that keyword, no filters. But you will get nowhere if you want to rank on PD loans or Viagra. You won't
There's
even
so much
go
more
up
manual
and down.
stuff. Yeah.
The filters
I
are
mean,
a lot
I think
more
that
aggressive.
it's valuable to try to rank on that stuff. And, Irish and I have looked at CBD and Viagra and things like that. And you look at the SERPs and they are changing day to day, but there are still in there some of those old fashioned spammers. But loans is an easier place to go into. One of the affiliates did some beautiful stuff where he had bought hundreds, if not thousands, possibly thousands of domain names, and he just spun them up over and over. So one would be ranking top while the other was being spun up. That would get the penalty, but the other one was already spun up, and then he'd be spinning up another one in the background. It was like zebra loans, giraffe loans, uncle loans, aunt loans, sister loans, etc., etc. It just was amazing. And brilliant stuff. I think he's retired now.
Let's put the tinfoil hat on for a second. IMO, in my opinion, a certain set of keywords like Viagra, like sex, like a very select number of keywords are, in my opinion, manually edited because the algorithm can't keep up.
Yeah, machine learning will never be turned loose on like Viagra or CBD oil or anything like that, or probably any medical term. So any your money or your life type pages, anything related to medical, I cannot see a machine learning algorithm being allowed to its head. But tennis lessons, absolutely.
It's just the way the results that are displayed. And if you want to look at it from a quality rater point of view, it just smells too much human. It just it doesn't. Then, so the main keyword is manually created, in my opinion, and it seems you share that opinion. But then, if you go just next to it, then you see that it's a mess. It's a mess. So they I guess that's the way they do it. You have those very high value, that a lot of eyeballs on those keywords because they serve as examples of quality or whatever they.
Well, it's not just that they serve as examples of quality. They're the ones that are the most dangerous for the uneducated, so to speak, general public. So if people aren't digital marketers, they're uneducated in digital marketing, that's where things can go wrong. And when you talk to people outside our industry, they trust Google. So they go to Google and they say, what is the best, whatever, and they trust that value judgment that Google has just given them. None of us would ever do that. We would do that to see who's freaking spamming the most, but we're not going to buy from the best of whatever. We're only going to buy what we've audited ourselves and checked to make sure it's good.
You ask your Twitter followers before asking Google if you want.
Yeah, I'd ask my Twitter followers before asking Google, only in rare exceptional cases. Because, everybody has a little bit of a mischievous streak in them. And then you get one person saying, call it Bodie McBoatface. And the next thing you know, 500,000 people have voted for that.
No, what's true, what shifted is we call it a qualifying agent. I don't know if it translates well in English, but that's the way we call it in French. Is if you have a problem with your car, you're gonna call Uncle Joe, who has a car rental company, and you're like, okay, Uncle Joe is the most likely to know what's up with my car, because even if he's not like a car garage, because he's the closest to that topic. And now, you're right. People trust Google, but that's what we said during the podcast, the first one of the SEO Stories series, where we're like, we are invisible. Nobody knows we exist. Everybody says Google dominates the world, or as the chairman of the big tech hearing committee said, Google is the entry gate to
they're the gatekeepers to the internet.
Okay, well,
our Facebook.
But guess who dominates Google? Hey, we are. So
exactly.
Now, if we can give a little bit of value to the people who want to test out Black Hat SEO today, what SEO contests are kind of not a thing anymore, but that's how I learned. I started playing with the second one ever organized in the world, and I've done dozens, and maybe like 20 of them. So I learned a lot, but it doesn't seem like SEO contests exist anymore. What would be your advice on how do you test the limits, and what kind of tricks could you give them to try?
Well, definitely buy your own domains that you don't mind burning. Do dedicated hosting on an IP you don't mind burning. And then just go out and buy shit like SERP clicks. Do a test with SERP clicks. SERP clicks is a service where you buy people clicking on your search result for a keyword. Test it out, see if it works. It worked in interesting ways for me, but it might work differently for you. And just like freaking test stuff, but you're going to have to throw money at it. So don't be afraid of throwing money at it. Buy domains, buy some content. You can test with GPT-3 created content and see if that will work. But we've already spoken about the fact that Google can spot that. You can buy content off Fiverr. You can buy content all over. Buy links. Buy lots of links. create a really interesting research piece, push it out on a press release, see what that does. You need to be testing all the old-fashioned stuff that we used to do, because some of it still works. Press releases still work. Outreach still works.
Oh.
Buying links still works.
You know what I want to test? I know you studied Black Hat SEO with white text on white page. I want to test it again. I want to see if it works. I want to see if that works today.
Yeah, Google will detect the content, but it won't necessarily give an award on a ranking basis to that content unless there's no other content on the internet that matches that. So I've not tested it so much as experienced it.
Remember what I said. It depends where you want to do it.
Yeah.
Those low-hanging fruits or long tail or whatever, Google is not the same all over the index, all over the keywords. Certain countries, you can be very aggressive on certain Googles, even in the same language. Google.be, Belgium, or CH, Switzerland, piece of cake compared to .ca, Canada, or .fr, France. So fine. And also, my rule is, I used to, but I don't need to understand the language because it's all automated. So I go into like faraway Googles, okay? I don't do anything in French. Everything is separated. Here's my trick to protect you. Because you have thousands of footprints, and like Judith says, the money trail is the one. And once, if they want to, there's the penalties and all that stuff. But if they target you, we all have. She has a file at Google. I have a file at Google. They know who we are. We are public figures. But if you start to be a black hat who opens his or her mouth a lot more than he or she should, if you come out with a tool to help spam Google, if you make too much noise, if you make too much money, they will target you, but like Trojan horse, keylogger style, meaning you will not. I've seen it. Everything you do won't work anymore. It won't. 24 hours later, it's gone. And here's my next theory. So that's when they really are able to know who you are, and they want you out of business. They will put you out of business.
Yeah, definitely.
But supposedly every day they catch 25 billion spam indexing pages and 90 billion spammy links per day.
Yep.
That's what they say. Let's imagine, and it's in relation with the latest core update. I want your point of view on the fact that here's how it works. I need to go wide so people see. First step, Google discovers your page URL. Phase 2, Google is going to crawl your URL. Phase 3, Google is going to index URL. Phase 4, anti-spam filters, relevancy, blah, blah, all page rank calculation, dozens, hundreds of operations until the latest step, which is your page shows up in the search engine result page. So you have all those steps. My theory is, and I know they've been working on it for the past 5 years, but my theory is the latest update. Imagine the economy if discovery of the URL, crawl of the URL, and then stop. No index. Decide at that level that you won't index the shit. So in my opinion, they are trying to calibrate the level of shit that's permitted. Okay, because 90% of the web is crap. So what's what's the a decent level of crap that you can index? That's my theory. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think there is a decent level of crap that you can index level. I think one of the things that we've been seeing recently is that Google is reaching physical limitations on the tech. So we're at the point at which they're really struggling to adapt to the volume of crap that's coming through because, 25 billion pages, that's incredible. 90 billion links is nothing because you're finding links on every page, but wow. And think about the physical technology that's going into that. And that's why we're seeing so many issues with Google. And I wonder too if that's why it's a little bit easier right now to get away with some of the more spammy techniques than it used to be. So nowadays, if you do a press release on certain sites, not all, you actually do find that you're getting decent links from publishers and you're actually able to move the needle, but not with every single press release distribution service. And it stopped working for ages and it's working again. And people just aren't leveraging that because everybody switched and no one kept testing. So if you're not testing the stuff that used to work and then we say it doesn't, yeah, no, don't do that. Don't believe that just because Neil Patel says don't do it, that it doesn't work.
Because they all want PBN, they all want like expired domains. So nobody is
you know what?
spam commenting, nobody is doing all those good stuff anymore.
Well, spam commenting works, but putting that aside, and I know it works because I've tested it and it worked so successfully. It was really amazing. But a lot of the domains that come up for sale are actually churn and burn domains. And you look at them and you can see that somebody's pumped it and dumped it. So it's really difficult to buy pre-owned, pre-loved domains because a lot of them are shitty.
It is the very difficult task. Takes a lot of time to pick a domain that is expired and has some kind of value
and not bad and not toxic.
Sometimes for the money that I see some people spending on expired domains, meaning thousands of euros or whatever. Yeah. Why don't you buy a site that's like pick a directory, okay, that is not maintained, and the guy will sell it to you, or like a forum or whatever, or one of those websites that you can identify that's running, but the guy has been doing it for a long time, and it's time to quit,
to retire, or even better, buy a WordPress plugin that's no longer loved.
Also, yeah, you can get so creative into finding. You know what? Even okay, you can do it for the big companies, but just Google. Put your watch list of the Google acquisitions, the companies that Google buy, and check the domains. They don't even renew them. Okay? They buy hundreds of companies. Sometimes they just need one little piece of technology from that company. And you get all the Google related press activity around that domain, and it's gonna cost you like $6. Okay, it's not even like going into the
because it's a drop domain. Although I'm not sure they're still dropping domains like they used to, but the cost of maintaining all of the domains for all of the companies they bought it's astounding. Why do you think they became a domain name registrar? You want to be able to.
The problem with Google is people don't understand that it's such a big company that it's spread apart and they are kind of independent. So if this part and renewing a domain at our level, we make mistakes and we forget. So think about that their level.
Yeah. It's just insane.
And
But it's a good opportunity for people. But you really do need to check the history of the domain before you buy it. So, like yesterday, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, somebody I know who's into buying domains was tired one day, bought a domain, and it's crap. It's useless. And he's spent money, good money, on an absolutely useless domain. It was a pump and dump. And now it's worthless. He's not going to do anything with it. And he's wasted money.
once you play the game big time and you start to build a private links network in the hundreds, you will have, if you're good, you will have 10% loss. Average is about 30% loss on buying domains that look good and don't do shit. So
Yeah.
it's a big ratio, like averaging 30% and being good with losing still 10%, not great numbers. It's just one way to do it, but don't confuse the public networks and the private networks.
Yeah. Yeah. And a private network should never be up for sale. So, like, if somebody offers you links that you could buy from a PBN, it's not a private blog network then. It's not a private network. The moment somebody's selling outside, it's not private. You build a private blog network or a private site network, and you use that yourself. You do not start selling links on it. Otherwise, it's not private anymore. Hello, footprint.
It's simple, Black Hat SEO. SEO is simple. You need to build content and you need to hide it. So you will need to learn cloaking. One of my former students built a website called In Cloaking Veritas. You have all the information to do white hat cloaking, but you can use it also in a black hat way, because that's not a black hat technique. That's just a technique. So you need to create the content automatically. Judith spoke about GPT-3. I only tested GPT-2. It's no good. I rather have my own. I have tools that are able to extract the entities. I have tools that are able to tell me all the words around the topic that are relevant. Then, what do? You take the beginning of a sentence on one page, the end of a sentence on another page, and you put your good words in the middle. That's the very basic way.
I miss the days of Mad Lib, man.
And you need to put a warning. For example, if you see a word with caps, remove it. It's a brand, it's someone's name, and if they have like a Google alert and you see that popping up,
I watch for my name all the time.
Remove the caps and you'll be good. But I give you the basic framework of how you generate automatically, one way to generate automatically content. But with the technology we have today, being able to, don't bring up LSI keywords in front of Judith, but you are able
Unless
to...
you want to look stupid, in which case, bring it up and then I'll stop listening and walk away and do something better with my day.
You go to FrenchTouchSEO.com and have one of the tools will tell you exactly what words you need to put in the title tag, in H1, in the first paragraph. We have tools that will tell you how many words you need to remove, these words you need to remove, that many times. We are very advanced because we started this whole like semantic SEO thing 10 years ago. And right away, we started with how do we generate automatically content. So today we are pretty good at making content for Google, but making content that is readable by humans and optimized for SEO, nowhere near that path. It's still one content for Google, one content for human. I don't believe in this dream right now. Maybe I'll change my mind in a couple of years, but today, impossible. I don't think it's possible to have a well-optimized content for Google and human on the same page. So now,
That's automated. Yeah.
yeah. So you have your content, you hide your content, and then you build links, and that's it. If the only easy trick I can give you to hide your footprints is simply to create a new user account on your computer and either Proton VPN is in Switzerland. That's a good VPN. And proxies is not expired proxies, something proxies, forgot the name. But either VPN or proxy. And if you open a new account on your computer, and that account, you don't use Google, you don't use Google Chrome, you think as someone else. You call yourself someone else and you act as someone else organically, naturally, logically. You will get rid of all the footprints except some of the money trails that are more difficult or even impossible for some people to hide because they don't have the organization behind.
Yeah, there are ways. I mean, if I was doing it and I was really, really black hatting it, I would probably have a separate laptop that didn't touch my home network, that I only used in like a coffee shop or something like that.
Exactly.
And I'd have a yellow sticky on it. I mean, I would probably not do I wouldn't use the same machine because of the identification codes on it. So I'd use a separate machine. And then I'd never, ever, ever, ever turn it on where my home network was. I'd always have a remote location that I used. So like right now for me, it's a little frustrating because I can't go to my normal Hangouts to activate my laptops. I've got to find new places for those laptops to be activated because they shouldn't be with each other. They need to be in different places, but I have a limitation on how far and wide I can travel.
Maybe
so
you
at the
can
moment,
why don't you use the Elon Musk internet? It's not available yet.
All sorts of ways that you can be spotted. So I would definitely have a laptop that was completely off, in a nice laptop case, and I didn't turn it on or power it up or anything until I got away from the native network into somewhere else. And physically distant from your location is also a really good idea.
We spend already
under lockdown rules that qualifies as essential work, but it might.
we need to close this one because 38 minutes in the making. It's a very interesting topic, and we could talk about it for hours. One last thing, it's Christine who brought up the concept of the ass hat. You can be a black hat SEO. You can break Google guidelines. Google is not the law. Just don't be an ass hat. Don't put your employees and jobs in danger. Don't put your company's website in danger. Don't complain. Okay. If you're an ass hat and you break everything and you lose everything, well, don't complain. Okay. But I see too many people being asshats and coming out and complaining while they are 100% guilty of
just own it, man. If you are guilty of what you've done, own it. Maybe not in a Charles Float sense, but just own it.
And there's one rule. For example, when the disavow file came out, I came out with a blog post and say like, never ever use that. First of all, never register in the Search Console and all that stuff. But the disavow file, if you're a good gangster, okay, if you're part of the mafia for 40 years, when the cops catch you, you don't open your mouth. You can spend 72 hours not saying anything. The disavow file was the best way for the machine learning. Google suspects something, and you tell it exactly, yeah, you're right. This is what I did. So when you play on the dark side, stay there. Don't and never open. Okay. First of all, I know you want to talk to people about the super spot where you put a link, and if you talk to one person, don't complain if everybody else comes over. Okay. Shut your mouth. Do your thing. I dare anyone to find my own network. It's completely separated from anything I do. It's a different, not even country, continents. It's different companies, different people, different everything. It's separated. I used to get caught a lot. I don't get caught anymore because it's so far away and so separated that's it. But then I still see the effects of the fact that it's people. Let's end up on that. People think it's quicker and cheaper. I told you the trick. I won't say it. The trick of how to rank very fast, very quickly for a short period of time. I'll keep that one for another day. But it's not cheaper. If you want to build a machine that will build automatically websites, well, now you have some tools that do it. But when you would want to build it for yourself, it's in the hundreds of thousands. Okay, it's not cheap. If you want like a machine that will register the website, build the CMS, build the content, integrate the content, put the website in production, build the links, we can automate all that. And it's personally hundreds of thousands of euros spent in building those tools to automate everything.
Wow.
So either you play just as an artisan, okay, just play.
And there's nothing wrong with an artisan. We eat all their cheeses.
Yeah. But if don't pretend otherwise. If you want like on the big production, like that's another game. So be an artisan. Don't be a asshat. But Google guidelines, don't believe the hype. You can violate them. It's not the law. So do whatever you want, as long as you own it. You must own it. So meaning if you own it, you can't complain. I don't accept people complaining. That's just not how it works.
No, there's no point. You did it. Just fess up, accept the bitch slap, and move on. Okay,
so now that we shot a supposedly quick myth-busting video turn podcast, what are we talking about next? We are talking. Let's get angry a little bit.
Angry.
Yeah, let's get pissed off about this type of SEO agencies that sell customer satisfaction instead of results.
Yeah.
Very easy to drag on a client from report to report and show nice curves. But see you next time. It will be an important one to know how to pick the right SEO to achieve results, not just get reports. Thank you. Merci, Judith.
Merci.
And thank you, everyone, for watching.